Oops. What is this? Accepto, maybe. Okay, I accept whatsoever it is. Okay, and this is the, oops. Continua, okay, I continue. This country I'm speaking by mixture of Latin, Italian, and Portuguese. I do very well. Okay, but anyway, see it is. No, this is by a Finnish Baroque Eero Tarasti musical synthesis, so okay, you can read it. Yes, appeared. Then I take another one. Wait a minute. Let me take. Yes, I have maybe 2 essays which are so fresh they have not yet even appeared. One is appearing now at Routledge Anthology, edited by my American colleagues. So, wait a minute. I can. Yes, okay. This is my very fresh essay forthcoming from Ursats, you know Ursats Schenker, to ESMUC, Avenues for Theorist Analysis. Okay, and now I show you something. One more about music analysis, because time is certainly running. Okay, music meanings appear. Something over there. So, does anyone want to be a semiotician? Because you know, semiotics is very much used by all kinds of scholars who pretend to be semioticians, but they are not, sad to say. Let's say people in so-called British cultural theory, cognitive studies, multi-modal studies, gender studies, they all adopt theories and names without knowing where they are coming, without defining them exactly. So I think it's, of course it's nice, but it doesn't lead to anything profound. And now it comes, yes, no, it should be here. Okay, ESMUC. I'm sorry to bring you so much new terminology. ESMUC comes from this. You see, is that readable for you? Can you read the text so far? Can you? Yes. You see the Greimassian Semitic square, S1, S2, non-S1, S2. I put them to the categories of Hegelian logics. Oops. No? Here. I get into this type of, the diagram on the left, you see moi and soi, French. Moi is me, and soi is society. And these M1, M2, they represent 4 modes of being, namely, in Hegel, an mir sein, für sich sein, für mich sein, für sich sein und an sich sein. They are very Hegelian. In English, to be in myself, to be for myself, to be for oneself, and to be in oneself. You must read Hegel's logics. This is very much used by existential philosophers, because my theory is called existential semiotics, but it is not existentialism. I'm inspired by Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, Søren Kierkegaard, Heidegger, but I'm only inspired, so my theory is existential. My American publisher, Wilmington, John Gorman, asked me, what do you mean by existential semiotics? You know, I think he thought it's something like you know, Henry Thoreau, the American writer, Walden, is some kind of existential reflections. But anyway, it's coming from these 3 categories of being, which in music mean, or it can be, you see the category on the right, M1 is just the being in myself. Primary kinetic energy, desire, gestuality, cora, body. It's our body, simply, in all its chaotic nature, without any articulation. So we all have bodies, we have certain feelings. So cora is Greek. It's from gender studies by Kristeva, cora. Then this body gets into, you see, right corner, identity, personality, habit, stability. It becomes a person. If you are a very young person here in the body, then you get, by education, you get cultivated, you get a person, personality, you have an identity. But on the other hand, there is a society, soi, which appears as abstract norms, values, and general codes you see in the corner of the right down side. And these values manifest or are embodied in social practices. You see that S2, social roles, institutions, practices. And now you see this, it is no longer Semitic square, it is a set, because there is continuous movement within this model. We are either moving from body to these values, so body is sublimated, spiritualized, or our social norms, which are abstract, they are embodied into corporeal habits. Now this is abstract, let's give some example. Let's say that the value or norm is beauty, S1. The beauty is manifested in, let's say, conservatory is a practice, your academy, okay? Academy needs certain personalities, certain persons who are musicians. So they are these identities, and musicians must have certain type of bodies, otherwise they couldn't perform anything. If you are a pianist, you must have hands. If you are wind, then you must have lungs, if you are, etc. Okay. Or my other example was from the, let's say, fatherland, patriotic would be value, then let's say army would be institution, soldier would be the identity, and soldier must have certain bodies. But this is not liked by all my audience. Yes, okay. I used the German term Heimat here, but my Indian student made a confusion because Heimat is very German. It's not only, let's say, 1930s, 40s, but it's general term. So fatherland, but anyway, that's two examples. Now, this can be brought to music, so that music has always these four elements if you want to study musical meaning: body, person, practice, and values. And they sound simultaneously. Very nice example, I must certainly finish that soon. Let's say etude, opus 25 by the A flat major. So it has body, it has certain physical kinetic energy. It's vibrating sound. It's vibrating there. It has an actoriality, it has a theme. So it's a theme, actor. It has social practice, it is etude. It belongs to the genre of piano etude. So it's not a sonata, it is just etude. And it has aesthetics. Like my Polish teacher, piano, Jan Hoffman said, it is Schönheit und Poesie. So beauty and poetry. And they are all sound at the same time. I have in my study many, I just give some cases because these may, I'm developing a notation for new types of notation to grasp this reality. I try to get here some examples. Yes. By the way, here you see how complicated, because my extensive semiotics is much playing with two terms which I have no time to explain later: Dasein, in which we were in, and transcendence. Especially transcendence is very important and something quite new in semiotic theories. If you take any encyclopedia of semiotics, you don't find term transcendence. But for me, it is absolutely fundamental in the whole structure of my theory. Ultimately, I think whole semiotics is transcendental art. Why? Umberto Eco said that semiotics is signification plus communication. Take a sign. What is sign? That's the foundation of semiotics. Sign is something whereby we refer to something which is absent. Alic vir stat pro alic vo, said the Middle-Age logicians. Renvoi, like Roman Jakobson is. So by science we talk about something which is absent or transcendence. And I would say that the easiest version of definition for transcendence is that it's anything which is absent but present in your mind. That is transcendental. So my transcendence is not a theological one, but it's rather philosophical, stemming from Immanuel Kant. Communication, what it is. Have you read Saussure's famous cours de linguistique générale, which has this dialogue model? Mr. A and Mr. B are confronting, and Mr. A says something, it comes to Mr. B's ear, something happens here, and then Mr. B answers. Well, I would say that to Mr. A, Mr. B is a transcendental entity because he can never know who he is. Let's see, if I am Mr. A here, and you are B's, Mr. B, so Mrs. B's. So I don't know who you are. I have no idea what you think now. I have no idea. It can be a total misunderstanding. So it means every act of communication is terrible risk of misunderstanding. Absolutely. So because it's transcendental act. And in philosophy, you are called as fremdselige. Fremdselig, it means alien psychic. So you are aliens to me in that sense. But I can suppose that maybe something which happens in my own stream of consciousness is similar in your brains. But that's only hypothesis, and I can never be sure about that. So anyway, I mean that that's important, but let me just give these examples, how this goes to music, and then I close. Because I have some quite concrete cases, how these appear. Oops, let me hope to get faster. I distinguish 4 principles: similarity, difference, this semic movement. By the way, the term semic comes from zeta, and emic is internal. It's from linguistics. Then transcendence, up or down, and then dialogue. So there are 4. They come in notation something like this because, okay, good. Here is one example. Yeah, no. No. You all recognize this. Okay, so this is what happens here. This is Beethoven. You see, we have all these, we have simultaneously with this, we have moi one. It is, they are with this circle, you see, either it is very tranquil, this arpeggio, or very, very agitated. Or agitated. Then you have theme, of course. Moi two. They are just these themes, motives, let's say. So are two genres of practice. You have at the beginning, you can hear here in reference to the Prélude non mesuré by François Couperin, which is almost without time, as you know, cembalo, clavecin. And then at the end you see Doppelschlag, Baroque. So there are 2 references to Baroque style here, I would say. And then so one, this aesthetics, you see this, I write already, Traum und Rausch. You can say Sturm und Drang all together, but Traum is from Nietzsche, it is dream, and Rausch is ecstasy. It's from Nietzsche's Kritik Mutter Tragödie. So you see that we can, by notation, you can analyze these 4 elements of a semic model simultaneously, and well, I think my time is. I had also another example, because these might be more illustrative to you. Yeah. Here's a sonata form type, ideal type, I would say. Here is a Mozart C major, let's say. You have here is a gesture, da-da-da, and then suddenly, surprise, vertigo. You see, that is the moi one physical effect. But it is a transcendental gesture to something, but it doesn't lead there. It is, there is symmetry and balance. There is a dialogue, question, affirmation. It's sonata form. There is a gallant style. So you have all these elements here. And then let me take the last one is, okay. It's from, these are errors catalyzing there's also for Mozart. This is very typical. Mozart is always playing with all this, and these thematic elements can be in conflict with it. So this is the piano concerto. March is repertoire 2, it is genre, but then it is comes this gebundene style, but it is buffa style. It's sometimes very serious gebundene baroque style, but also so it's also typically Mozart is very humorous by combining this. Okay. Anyway, I think we will continue, but you might read my essay. But I think I close now because time is over, and maybe we have some time in the coffee break to discuss because time is really running fast. Thank you very much. Thank you.